Hi everyone, it's Claire back again. What I've got is we're not going to do any destashing and we're not going to do any swatching or comparisons or anything today. We're just going to look at types of blue, and I'm going to give you some facts about blue around the meaning and the symbolism and some phrases and cultural fun facts about blue. If I did the destashing and the swatching as well, we would be here for a long time. On my nails, by the way, is Pacific Blue, the original that was sent to me by the wonderful Jules. This arrived just today and already this is the second video it's been in. So yeah, little diva. So what I'm going to do, when I looked at the different types of blue, there were actually like 60, 70 different types of shades of blue, which would have been epic. But what I've done is I've pulled out 20 different types of blue that I've heard or that we've talked about before in the nail polish community. And some of them actually were quite surprising, and some blues that I thought were a particular type of blue aren't, so you might be surprised as well. So before I get into it, one fact to tell you is blue is everybody's favourite colour, or the favourite colour of most people. If you ask 10 people or 100 or 100 million people what their favourite colour is, it's very, very likely that blue would come up on the top of the list all of the time. The other thing to say is that blue is a difficult colour to the eye, so it's refracted by the eye, which flattens it as a colour and makes it appear smaller. So that's another interesting fact about blue. What have we got here? So these are some different types of blue. There are 5 different types of blue here. I've got an Azure Blue, Baby Blue, Cerulean Blue, Cobalt Blue and Cornflower Blue. Can you tell which one's which? Well, these 3 here are the Azure Blue. So that's the Pacific Blue, Damson and Cabana Boy. They're very bright but not deep blues. So this is what I'm wearing, and this is Azure Blue. Now I would have thought Azure Blue was more like this, but it's not. That's a different type of blue. But that's Azure. Baby Blue is very, very pale pastel, but with a slight grey touch to it. So this is Butter London Petticoat. This is classed as a baby blue. Now you may disagree with what I'm coming up with here, but I've matched my blue colours against 2 different types of colour wheels online, and bearing in mind we've also got a range of different shades within each of those categories, but these are the ones that I've matched as much as I possibly can, and like I said, some of them are quite surprising. So Cerulean Blue I would have thought was something different to this. This to me is a cadet blue, but I couldn't find cadet blue, so I don't really know what that is. I may have just made that up. But this is a cerulean blue, so there's a grey-green hint to it. This one here is Miss Captain from Essence, and this one is a favourite of mine, which is probably likely to come up in the favourites for this year actually. This is Poolside Service, which I just picked up randomly from TK Maxx earlier this year. But I love, love, love both of these polishes, and these would fall into the cerulean category. Then we've got Cobalt, which I would have thought these colours were more cobalt, but actually it's more of a medium, mid-toned blue, but it's not a medium blue. I'll get to that in a minute. It's very confusing. This is a cobalt blue, and this is Mesmerised, which is the glorious 1-coater from Essie. I've probably got about half of this bottle. So it's darker than I would have thought, but yeah, this is Cobalt. And finally in this category we have the Cornflower Blues. So this is Sky High, confusingly, from H&M that was sent to me by Catherine. And this was, so I was going to say this was, I know I got this from the Vitamin Grocer haul. This is C'est La Vie, and these are both Cornflower Blues. So a blue, pale blue with a touch of lavender. That's a Cornflower Blue. That's our first category there. And what else can I tell you about blue? It's a cold, wet colour. It's slower to is slower in terms of emotions than red. Red's more of an intense colour, and it doesn't awaken the appetite. It's more the opposite. It suppresses the appetite. So in the home, you're probably going to find blue colours in the bathroom more than you are in the kitchen. So the other thing I can tell you about blue is lots of other different colours lean into blue. So you have turquoise, teals, grey blues, blurple, so the blue and purple mixture. So it works well with other colours. What I've got here is we have a cyan blue, an Egyptian blue, an iris, some medium blues and a midnight blue. So can you tell which is which? This one here is the cyan blue, which I would have sworn was turquoise. But actually turquoise is a different colour that we'll get to in a minute. But it's like a bright, it's like somebody's turned the brightness up on a turquoise colour. So that's a cyan blue. And this is Wet by Floss Gloss. Then we've got an Egyptian blue, which is this one here. This has got a nice shimmer in it, but the blue base actually itself is an Egyptian blue. Now this is slightly deeper than the cobalt blue, which is Mesmerised. So there's just a little bit more depth to it, but they are very similar. Then we have one of my favourite flowers is iris, and this is a classic iris blue. It's got that beautiful electric blue flash in there, but this is Deep End Sinful Colours, and this was sent to me by Debbie, and this is a perfect match for an iris blue shade. So yeah, love, love, love this. Well, considering iris is my favourite flower, it doesn't surprise me that I was completely bowled over by this one. Beautiful. And next we have medium blue. Now, I would have bet money actually on this being a royal blue, but it's not. This is medium blue. And actually, Endless Blue from Sinful Colours is a true medium blue. These two here, which are Queen by Cure Bazaar and Peace Out by Lottie London, they're slightly darker and actually they tip into what's called Duke Blue. So maybe that's where I'm getting it mixed up with the Royal Blue, because you know, like Duke, Duchess, Royal. But no, Royal Blue is something different. So this is a medium tone blue, as are these, but these tip more into the Duke Blue colour category. And then finally we have Midnight Blue. Now again, I wouldn't have thought that this was Midnight Blue. This is Sleeping Under the Stars. So maybe actually some of the names link into the types of blue they are. I know that there's quite a pronounced flash in this. So yeah, this is a China Glaze, Sleeping Under the Stars, and it is a midnight blue. So there is a hint of dusky purple in a midnight blue. You look past the shimmer and just see the base. But again, beautiful, beautiful shade. So as we've said, blue in nature relates to the sky and the sea. And if you think about the sea, it's interesting that culturally, in different countries, blue is described as slightly different or has different meanings. So for example, in China, blue is described as either a shallow blue or a deep blue, rather than a light blue or a dark blue. So again, that reference to the sea. In Belgium, interestingly enough, so another cultural reference, although universally blue tends to relate more as a boy's colour, in Belgium blue is related to girls and pink is seen as symbolic of a boy's colour. So I thought that was quite an interesting fact. What we've got here we've got a selection of more blues, so different types of blue again. We have a Maya blue, a navy blue, a periwinkle, Prussian blue and powder blue. Can you guess which one is which? This one here, Snow Cone, this is a beautiful dusky pastel blue. This is a Mayan blue, or Maya blue, and it's because it's got that duskiness to it. So it's not as bright as a baby blue, which is petticoat. It's slightly deeper, so this is a perfect colour, perfect shade to wear all round. Or if you're a seasonal person, snow cone, you can wear this across the year. So this is a Maya blue. Then we move on to a navy blue. This here is a true navy blue. This is Revlon Urban. This is the closest match that I could find to a navy blue. So it's a deep, deep blue, but not dark enough to look like a black on the nail. You still get that beautiful navy shade. So that's Urban. Then we move on to Periwinkle, and this really is a classic Periwinkle shade. It's Bikini Sotini, and it does actually match the Periwinkle shade on the colour wheel. Then we move on to Prussian Blue. These two here are classic Prussian blues. This is Blue Rebel by Chanel, and this is I Saw You Saw We Saw Warsaw from OPI. Now, Prussian Blue is the ink colour that's used with blueprints, so maps and old legal documents, architects' drawings of buildings, blueprints. This is the colour of ink that would be used in blueprints. And then finally in this category we have powder blue. I'm kind of going in alphabetical order. And we have here elderberry and chinchilla. So this is the Barry M, this is the Ciate, and powder blues are more grey again than the baby blue. Very similar, but there's a tad more grey, just a little bit. Actually, maybe this could be a baby blue as well. They're very, very similar, powder blue and baby blue. Some other facts that I can give you about blue. It's generally seen as quite a conservative, predictable, reliable, trustworthy colour. But yeah, it's complex and it can be a contradictory colour. So similar to red, there is a flip side to blue. So there's a kind of negative and a positive. On the more positive side, I remember doing some training courses that I used to do, and the icebreaker would be something that makes you happy and something that makes you not so happy. And on the happy side, most people would relate something to water. So that would be walking along the beach, going for a swim, taking a long dip in the bath, going fishing. These were all seen as relaxing activities, and it was funny. Every time I asked that question, all the answers seemed to come back that were related to water. So water and blue is seen as tranquil, calm, wisdom, freedom, cleanliness. And again, I suppose when you're looking at the sky, there's that metaphysical feeling of the vastness of the universe. And blue is very much a colour of faith, wisdom. It's the study of it's the colour of devotion and study, self-study. Another thing to think about that's quite interesting that relates to the colour blue, especially around profession like faith, devotion, study, confidence, wisdom, loyalty. So blue in terms of uniforms is policemen, nurses, religion, nuns. It's just blue is seen as a colour of authority. So like a smart blue suit, but it's also universal in the respect that most people have got a pair of blue jeans. So let's have a look at this colour category here. This is the final one that I've got to show you. Now what we've got is royal blue, sky blue, turquoise, aquamarine and Yale blue. You can't see the turquoise yet, but I will tell you that royal blue is this category. This blew my mind because I thought royal blue was much deeper. I thought that this was more like a royal blue, but no, that's a duke blue. This is Cameo from Illamasqua, and this is Preta Surfer from Essie. Sky blue, This is a classic sky blue, although the sky will look different. Here it tends to look a bit greyer most of the time, but this is categorised as a classic sky blue. Then you've got turquoise. Now, this is turquoise, or the turquoise colour category, which completely confused me because I thought this was turquoise, but it's not. This is cyan. So they still have that kind of bit of green in them, whereas these colours here are much more blue, but there is a little bit of green here. And so this is turquoise. This is a pale turquoise, I believe in manicures from OPI, and they go all the way through. So I didn't think I had many turquoises, but actually it turns out it's a category I've got quite a lot of, and this is a dark shimmery turquoise, and this is Ken from Glitter Baby Nails. So yeah, that's turquoise. And then we have ultramarine, which is a deep, deep, deep blue, similar to navy, but with a hint of purple. And we have here combat blues and Euro, which I think you can see. These are this to me is a blurple, but then in some lights it looks more like a navy deep blue, but with a hint of purple. And then I just wanted to know what this type of blue was. This is Mallory, and I was struggling to kind of fit this into a colour category. This is a Yale Blue, which again, when you think about knowledge, wisdom, faith, confidence, so there tends to be lots of blues that are linked to the names of colleges and schools and universities. So there's an Oxford Blue, Cambridge Blue, Eton Blue, a Yale Blue. So I thought that was quite interesting. So when we think about phrases related to the colour blue, we have sayings like into the blue, which is into the unknown, or out of the blue, which is, oh, that's happened out of the blue unexpectedly. It can also be linked to that negativity, the sort of negative meaning. So Blue Monday, baby blues, and singing the blues. So obviously that's a type of music that has sad lyrics and sad melodies, but also other phrases like true blue, which links to the meaning of loyalty and trust. One last thing that I can tell you about blue, this colour here, this is Yves Saint Laurent, one of my high-end polishes, and this is Blue Majorelle. That this relates to a story about somebody in the 1920s. This is a French artist, and if I was being very British I would say Jacques Majorelle, but I'm going to try and pronounce this in a French accent. Jacques Majorelle. And this artist was in Morocco in the 1920s. One of his big art projects was something called the Majorelle Gardens. And in those gardens, he painted the walls of the villas and the features in the garden, all this intense shade of blue, which he actually trademarked as Majorelle Blue. So there are two trademark types of blues actually. Tiffany Blue, which was trademarked by Tiffany and Co. in the, again, I think in the 1920s. And this one, although I think this is a bit controversial because Jacques Majorelle actually, he was in Morocco and he took a lot of his inspiration from things like the Moroccan tiles and natives' homes that were around him at the time. So I would call this Moroccan blue rather than Majorelle blue, because I don't think he should have a mandate on this colour when he was inspired by it. So I don't know. My husband's here and he's telling me that blue also, he's got an art background, and he's telling me that blue was rarely used in paintings in the Renaissance because the pigment was cobalt, and cobalt was a very expensive pigment. So that's why blues and purples are seen as quite a rich, opulent colour.
Virgin Mary's dress is blue.
Okay, the Virgin Mary's dress is blue.
So
Because it's rare.
Because it's a rare type of person.
Okay. I don't know if the Bible ever describes her as wearing blue, but no. Okay. Interesting. So, yes. Let me know, leave some comments below, fun facts about blue, your favourite blues, your favourite types of blues, and also let me know what colour category you want me to spotlight next. So we've done reds and blues. I'm not really following any order, I just wanted to do this because I know this is Jen's favourite colour. But yes, I'll see you all in the next one. Hope you enjoyed this. Bye.